Hello everyone, so welcome you back to Ashok Tutorials Meghalaya's first Mtet channel. So today we are going to discuss paper 2 science syllabus for 2024 Mtet exam. So as you know, this is also going to be for 30 marks. This subject science is also going to be for 30 marks, which means there will be 30 questions altogether, right? So the syllabus looks very tiny, very small and cute, but then there are going to be a lots and lots of things once we discuss the syllabus you will come to know. All right, so the syllabus is divided into how many parts? It has been divided into 6 units. Unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 units. All right, so let's discuss them unit by unit. So let's first of all go to unit 1. All right, unit 1. So in unit 1 you have nature of science. So what is the nature of science? We have to know that. What are the scopes? What are the what is the scope of science? What is the significance of science? What are the characteristics, the scientific knowledge, the scientific inquiry, the scientific methods, and scientific attitude we have to study in detail. We have to understand the meaning of each. Like, what do we mean by the nature of science, the characteristics of science, scientific knowledge, the scientific inquiry, scientific methods we use for different type of activities, and the scientific attitude which we all should have as science candidates or science students or teachers. So now let's discuss unit 2. Unit 2 is about learning objectives. So what are the objectives of learning science? So science with reference to NCF 2005. So you all know what is NCF 2005, right? So National Curriculum Framework. So what is the place of science according to National Curriculum Framework 2005? So you should know the full form of NCF. If you do not know, please write down in your diary or in your copy right now. NCF means National Curriculum Framework 2005. All right, let's discuss unit 3 now. So assessment. Unit 3 is about assessments. So what are the different type of assessment? What is the purpose of assessment? What are the tools used in the process of assessing students, and what are the techniques used? So we know basically broadly there are two types of assessment, right? Formative assessment as well as summative assessment. So what are the types? What is the purpose of assessing the students? What are the tools we used in order to assess our students, and what are the techniques or the tactics we use in order to do so? Then unit 4. Unit 4 is about approaches to teaching science. Now what are the different type of approaches we can use in order to teach our science subject more effectively or efficiently? So approaches can be observation, experiments, hands-on activities, concept map, and constructivism attitude, right? So if we want to be the science teachers, what we have to do is that we have to be very much observant and ask the students as well to be observant. They should have the thirst for science, they should have the thirst for knowledge, they should have inquisitive mind, right? Then observation is the best method. Then comes experimentation. We do experiments and we study science. Then we do hands-on activities. Then we do concept mapping and constructivism, right? So these are the approaches to learning of science. Now let's discuss unit 5. So learning, teaching, resources. So what are the different types of resources we can use in order to make our learning a very effective and a very efficient one? So the learning tools or the teaching resources can be use of local resources. We don't have to go so much for hi-fi resources. Whatever is available locally in your area, you should try to make use of them whenever you are going to impart knowledge or whenever you are going to teach in the classrooms. All right, so don't go for those posh costly stuffs for using them as your teaching aids. Just look around the backyard, in the garden, near the jungles, and try to find out the teaching aids and try to make the local resources useful and productive, by applying your ideas, your knowledge, and shaping the locally available resources into a productive one. Now, textbooks. So we all know that in schools we use textbooks, right? Then ICT, how is information and communication technology be used as a learning resource that we have to know. Then laboratories plays a very important, a very vital role in learning of science, right? Then field trips, of course, we even I was lucky enough when I was doing my BSc, we were taken for several field trips, from first year to third year. We have visited many places in Meghalaya. So very happy and very very fortunate I was. Now films, and we watch different type of films, the videos in YouTube, right? Then science exhibitions, of course, the science exhibitions, the seminars, the webinars were conducted, hands-on trainings were given, DBT star projects were given, then hands-on activities were given, then conferences were attended by us. So different type of exhibition. When you are learning science, when you become a science student, it's very very interesting. Of course, you don't get time at all for doing other stuffs. You cannot do, you are not free. All right, you're not free, you have to be with your books all the time, but of course you can enjoy a lot and lot of informative sessions through different type of activities, be it webinars, seminars, conferences, workshops, right? Then let's come to the last unit, that is unit 6, school science concepts. So what are the scientific concepts? Content areas, these are content areas, means these are all related to only science textbooks. So you have to learn about motion, force and energy. What is a motion? What are the different types of motions? Now what is a force? The push and pull force. Then you need to know energy. What is energy? Can energy be created? Can energy be destroyed? That you have to learn. Then heat and temperature. What is heat? What is temperature? What is light? What is electricity? States of matter, there are three states of matter: solid, liquid and gas. Then acid, bases and salts, you need to know when we combine acid and base what do we get. Then chemical symbols and formulae, for example the chemical formula for methane is CH4, right? The chemical formula for water is H2O. So those you have to know. Then what is plant cell and animal cell? What are the differences between plant cell and animal cell? The basic difference between plant cell and animal cell is that plant cells have got cell wall and animal cells do not have a cell wall, right? Then who discovered the cell? When was the cell discovered? What is unicellular? What do you mean by unicellular organisms? What do you mean by multicellular organisms? What are prokaryotic cells? What are eukaryotic cells? Who discovered the cell? When was the cell discovered? How was the cell discovered? What are the components of cell? You have to know. Nutrition in plants and animals. Now you have to know the different type of nutritions, like uh, heterotropic nutrition, autotropic nutrition, then holozoic nutrition, right? Parasitic nutrition, then symbiosis, commensalism, competition, predators, herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, decomposers, all those you have to know. Then respiration in animals and plants. Now how do the animals and plants respire? The plants, they take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen. The animal on the other hand, they take in oxygen and releases carbon dioxide, which means there is a mutual relationship between the plants and animals, right? Which means both are interdependent on one another. So what are the organs used in the process of respiration in human beings? Though that also you have to understand. See, many of you might be thinking it is talking about animals, but of course human beings are also animals. We are all animals, right? Are we plants? No, we are not plants, we are animals. But then of course, since we human beings, we have a brain, that's why we don't call ourselves as animals, we call ourselves as humans, right? But scientifically speaking, we are all animals, right? Then circulation in animals. Now how is the process of circulation taking place in human beings, and what is that, which system, which component is used in our circulatory system, or what is the main component of our circulatory system? It is the blood, right? The blood is the main part of the circulatory system. Then you have to know what are the different type of blood cells: RBC, WBC, platelets, plasma, the components of blood, right? Then how does blood help us to maintain our life, how are we, you know, living, or how is the blood transporting oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide outside the body, and taking in the oxygen and transporting. Why does the color of the blood looks red? What are the components of blood? So all those things we shall study in detail, right, when we are discussing science. So this is all in this video. So I hope I was very clear in explaining to you the syllabus for Mtet 2024 exam science paper 2. So thank you everyone for staying connected with Ashok Tutorials, Meghalaya's first Mtet channel. Thank you.